What up guys, it's Mark and today I got another League of Legends champion guide for you. Today we're going to be going over Nocturne. Now Nocturne is one of the easier champs in the game to learn. If you are first getting to start jungling, if you want to get into jungling, Nocturne's a great champion to start out with. He can be very easy to use but difficult to master. He's one of those guys. So if you're starting to think about getting into jungling, Nocturne is your champion and definitely try him out. As always, we have the overlay on the screen, so at any point in the video, if you want to jump to the item order, the skill order, or anything like that, just click on the left hand side. It'll take you right there. Now let's start off with Nocturne's abilities. Nocturne's passive is called Umbra Blades. This is actually a really cool passive, especially for people who are just beginning to jungle. Whenever this is active, Nocturne's next auto attack hits all enemies around him in a circle for an extra 20% damage of whatever his normal physical damage is. So you get a little bit of a damage boost to your normal auto attacks. Great part about this passive is also it gives you lifesteal. So any enemy you hit gives you a certain amount of lifesteal, and the more enemies you hit, the more lifesteal you have. When this is active, you want to get into the middle of the minions, the middle of the monsters, the middle of the champions, whatever you can, hit as many people as possible, and you'll get the biggest life return back. Nocturne's Q is called Dustbringer. This is really his primary damage ability. It's a skill shot that passes through any enemy that it hits. Any enemy that it hits also will basically attach to them, and wherever they go you'll see a trail of shadow for them for the next 5 seconds. As long as Nocturne stays on that trail, it gives him attack damage and move speed. As soon as he goes off of the trail, then you lose all of your buffs that you get from on it. So whenever you're clearing the jungle, always shoot your Q first and make sure you stand on the trail to get the bonuses and they don't go away. Nocturne's W is called Shroud of Darkness. Now this ability has 2 abilities built into it. One is a passive, and it's just a passive attack speed buff. It's pretty good in the jungle early on. You can clear much faster when you have this this attack speed buff than just normal. It's also real good for ganks. Now the active ability on this is a spell shield. For 2 seconds you'll get a shield that pops up around you, and any enemy that hits you with a spell, or any enemy that's trying to hit you with a spell, it'll just bounce right off of it. It's a great ability to have. You really have to get used to using this spell. This is one of the spells that you need to take your time with, and the more you play, the more you'll understand when you want to use it. So spell's passive is great and its active is great. You just really have to get used to using it. Nocturne's E is called Unspeakable Horror. This is a great ability for Nocturne, especially coming out of the jungle. If you saw my last guide on Fiddlesticks, you'll see that the fear is really powerful, and that's what this ability is. He throws out a chain at a target. Once it hits the target, it'll start dealing magic damage. Now after 2 seconds, if the chain is still attached to the target, it will fear the target for up to 2 seconds at max rank. It makes them walk wherever they go. They can't choose. It fears them for up to 2 seconds, and it's just free damage for you and your team. It's a great CC. It's one of the best in the game, just like Fiddlesticks. But the only thing you have to pay attention to is you have to be close to your target. If you get out of the tether range for the leash, it'll break and they won't get feared. So just keep that in mind. Now Nocturne's ultimate, his R is called Paranoia. This is really one of the most signature abilities in the game. Whenever you activate your active, for the enemy team, their whole screen goes almost completely dark. The brightness goes way down on their game. They can't see any allied anything. There's no allied minions, no allied champions. They can't see anything. It's just pretty much a black screen. Then, once you activate your ultimate on your target, he dives towards whatever the target is, and the range on it is very big. It's great for ganking. You can actually walk in the lane, stay far enough where the enemy champions can't see you, cast your ultimate, and just shoot right to them. You don't have to gank through river, through bushes, or anything. It's a great ultimate. Now let's get to Nocturne's skill order. I always take a point in Q at level 1. It's just the boost that you get, the buffs that you get from it, it's just hard to pass by at level 1. Now level 2, I either take a point in W or E depending on the situation. The W, it's nice to take a point in that to start out with because it gives you that passive attack speed boost. So if you're planning on staying in the jungle for a while and farming up, the attack speed boost really does help. However, if you're looking to gank right away, you want to pick an E first. Put a point in your E first. That way you'll have your fear available to gank. So you can either start QWE or QEW depending on if you're looking to roam in the jungle more or if you're looking to gank early. I always max Q first. The difference from level 1 to level 5 in his Dustbringer and his Q is huge damage, and attack speed, attack damage, everything is really buffed at level 5. Next, I always max E secondly. The fear on it, the more you max it, the longer the fear gets, and obviously the longer the fear, the better. And I max W last. The spell shield ability is very good to have in team fights, and the attack speed buff, as long as you have that 1 point in it, that's enough. You don't really need to max out till late game. And as always, you take a point in his ultimate, his paranoia, whenever you can. Now, in terms of items for Nocturne, I always start out Hunter's Machete, 5 health pots. That's really the basic start for every jungler out there, especially an AD jungler. This really helps you clear the jungle camps very quickly with the machete, and you always have your health pots for your sustain. Now, early game, you always want to pick up a Spirit Stone with Nocturne. Once again, just the jungle clear really helps you out. The clear time on everything goes way down once you get a Spirit Stone. And also, I always want to get my boots of speed when I go back for that Spirit Stone. Speed is huge when you're in the jungle, getting from point to point, and as early as you can get your boots, you want to get them. Now, for core items on Nocturne, I always start building him a little bit tanky. I always go Spirit or the Ancient Golem. That's a great ability on Nocturne. It's extremely efficient. Money-wise, gold-wise, you get a lot out of this item. Same thing with his boots. I always go with Ninja Tabbies. It's just another extremely efficient item. It makes you tanky, and when you use your ultimate to dive onto the back line, you don't get taken down so quickly. Next is the Blade of the Ruin King. This is just a great item that scales really well with Nocturne's attack damage and his attack speed buffs that he gets from his Q and his passive. Activate Blade of the Ruin King, you can really assassinate even the other team's assassins. You can be tanky, plus with the blade active, it just tears them down. Now, late game, I almost always build a Randuin's Omen. Every team on it has an AD carry. They are going to be given tons of attack damage, tons of physical damage on you, and the Randuin's is a great item to get rid of that. Now, also for my second item late game, I always pick up a Spirit Visage. 99% of the teams out there have some sort of magic damage to it. Spirit Visage is a great item to get away from that magic. Gives you plenty of magic resistance, and it'll let you stay on longer in fights. I almost always pick up a Last Whisper late game. It just gives you the extra damage to kill people when you're diving on the back line. It's fantastic to use. You can take out their carries quicker than they can take you out. Late game, everybody's going to have some sort of armor penetration, and the Last Whisper will just cut through that. So that's the end of the guide, guys. Like I said, Nocturne's extremely well-rounded jungler. You can play him right when you're starting to get into jungle. He's a fantastic champion when you're starting to learn, when you're trying to learn different routes and just trying to learn the jungle. In general, he's fantastic. Early game before level 6, he doesn't have the best ganks in the game. However, once you get his ultimate, once you hit level 6, you can really use his ultimate from almost anywhere in lane, in the bushes, and the enemies cannot get away from it. It's fantastic, and you know, he really grows stronger throughout the game. So like I said, it doesn't take a lot of skill to use him to start out, so if you're looking to improve in the jungle, definitely pick him up. However, if you're already great in the jungle, Nocturne, if used properly, can just be an absolute beast. So if you're already really comfortable in the jungle, pick him up if you've never done it before. Try him out, and he can be extremely efficient and just destroy people in lane. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the Nocturne guide. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay active.
Hitmakers.